spoke about how powerful and influential Radio 1 has become, which is precisely why you do have some responsibility. So my question is, what advice do you give those followers who did take you literally and spent everything they had and are worried about how they're going to survive between now and October 21st?
You know, the fact is that just as I'm talking very candidly to you, and I'm also, we're on the radio right now. There are probably more people listening to the Open Forum tonight than there ever been, because we've had so much publicity about family radio, and we haven't. We've told them ahead of time that we're going to have this kind of a meeting here on this evening, and so they're all hearing exactly what you're hearing.
Well, what advice do you give those who did take you literally and gave away all their money or donated it to family radio and now may not have the funds to survive between now and October 21st?
You mean how to survive?
What advice do you give your loyal followers who may have given up everything they have because they took the prediction literally?
We're not advising you. Please understand, we don't advise anybody what to do with how. We're not in the business of financial advice.
No, I'm not saying you told them what to do, but because they did believe that the end of the world was to have been this past Saturday, they gave up all their worldly possessions and their money, and now you have a different interpretation that focuses on the spiritual. So what do you tell those followers who did not understand that, as you did not understand it?
Let me answer it this way. We just had a great recession, There are lots of people that lost their jobs. There are lots of people that lost their houses. Lots of people,
oh, yes.
Not just a few, but lots of people. Lots of people had this and that, and somehow they all survived. They all had maybe a cousin helped them, or a brother, or a sister, or the city helped them, or maybe they had to cut their income, their living expenses way down. Some cases that was really very severe.
So there's
I'll tell you what has happened to the average person that has been faithfully listening to family radio isn't nearly as grievous as it has happened to countless people during this present recession, where they've lost their homes and so on and so on. So
some people did give up their homes, so what is the advice to them?
People cope.
Just to cope.
And we're not in the business of giving any financial advice. We're in the business of telling people, look, there's someone you can talk to that can maybe guide you, maybe help you. And that's God. Come boldly to the throne of grace. Pray without ceasing. I'll tell you, it's wonderful. It's wonderful when we get to a point in our life where a lot of times the best times of our life is when our back is against the wall and we don't know where to go, what to do. And so finally you're pleading with God and pleading with God. Oh, God, have mercy. Have mercy. I don't know what to do. And that can be just the time that you're really being drawn to God like you've never been.
So
Believe you me, God is very real, very real.
I agree with you. So I think that what they have to do, you're saying, is pray, become self-reliant, and not rely on someone else's information because it may be incorrect, but just to go within and trust themselves, perhaps? Is that the advice, maybe?
Well, no, they're not. That's the point of prayer. You don't rely on your own understanding. That's the point of prayer. You're relying on God to help you.
They rely on your understanding.
Excuse me. Now, look.
Right?
I'm praying to God. I don't have a job. So I'm lying in bed. Lord, oh, have mercy. I need a job. I need a job. Lord, have mercy. I need a job. I've got a family to support. But boy, this bed is comfortable. I don't want to get out of this bed. You know, that's pure hypocrisy. That's pure hypocrisy. We don't go to the Lord like that. We go to the Lord saying,
I think
Lord,
a lot of these are working people.
I'm
I don't
searching,
think they're
and have mercy. Is it possible that as I search and as I do this and that maybe there is a solution?
I think they were working people.
And maybe God wants me to sweat for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Safe
to say that the mainstream population that heard about May 21st didn't believe it, it didn't happen, now they say, see, this was ridiculous, and at best, sort of a misguided prediction, or at worst, some kind of scam. Does it worry you that you have hurt the credibility or made a mockery in some ways of religion?
Oh,
People
no,
are laughing. People are laughing at it.
excuse me, just like what I said before. There's no pastor in the world that that's not the right statement. Most pastors would never admit they make a mistake because they're trying to preserve their own credibility in the eyes of those who are listening, or maybe they insist they're maintaining the credibility of the Bible, but the fact is they're not. They're not. And all I can do is go to the Bible and very humbly say, look, I have done some more study, or somebody has sent me an idea about this verse, and I've checked it out, and I find that I have to make a change in it. That doesn't hurt the credibility of the Bible at all. It just shows us that we have to declare that we're not perfect, and God has to keep opening our eyes. And you know, the big God says again and again, He resists the proud and He gives grace to the humble. There's verse after verse in the Bible where God really resists those who come in their pride. And there's nothing more. There's one thing that should be seen in everyone who claims to be a child of God is humility. Humility. I'm nothing. Whatever I know or whatever I'm doing, I have to credit God altogether. I pray again and again. There's a verse in Philippians 2 where it says, work out your own salvation. And that is the salvation that God has provided. Then you work it out. And then it says, for it is God who causes you to will and to do of His good pleasure. So even when we do something well done, I can't take any credit. Oh, Lord, I thank you. I thank you that you guided me this way. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. And that's, I'll tell you, I can recommend this to anybody. It's a wonderful way to live when we walk humbly before God. Because you're never trying to show how smart you are or how wise you are. You are simply giving all the credit to God, and that's where it should go.